I'm a fan of a lot of the old G4 and Tech TV crew, even though they've moved on to other things.
Yeah, they're a good bunch of guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those. This is Gunter. I just entered, and I'm a big fan of NSFW show. Have you checked that out?
I have not.
It's just a lot of fun. They kind of tote it as like something to watch while you're playing games, so I like that.
That's interesting.
It's off the network now. They kind of do it on their own through Patreon or whatever. So, and they did a bunch of Dragon Con, which is in Atlanta, big convention and shows like that, and I got to meet up with them there, and it's good times.
That's cool. Yeah, Rev 3 lost Adam Sessler recently, which is a bummer for them.
Yeah, yeah, love the Rev 3 stuff. Well, welcome to VRChat.
Be right back. How do you set tags in here?
You don't. Dark Akuma is just magical.
Yeah.
How come I can't see my own tag above my head?
We have that turned off, so you can't see yourself. It's probably something we should turn back on.
It's kind of fun.
In case I forget who I am, definitely.
Oh, you know.
I can see mine over my head, but that's, yeah, that's magic.
You're special, Dark Akuma. You don't count.
Dark Akuma has been the biggest user of the SDK, making lots of avatars and stuff like that, and so he's actually managed to build that new nameplate into his avatar.
Wow, that's pretty hardcore.
Exact World of Warcraft font and everything. Fake guild tag.
Your tag still says Gunter likes midget porn, I think.
Yeah, you might want to change that there.
The truth hurts, doesn't it?
It is.
It is true.
Yep, my name only speaks the truth.
So, do you want to show off some of the other avatars you've got there, Dark Akuma?
Like which one?
Up to you. Catron's always fun.
Series.
Oh, you kind of ruined that, man.
Sorry.
Okay, all know that, yeah, the Catron avatar, despite my claims before, it is mine.
We figured it out.
You're early.
Yeah, I know everybody, kind of, figured that, but I denied it, so they all took my word on
Put the
that.
food next to me, and as soon as you can
Anything that's
wrap it up, that'd be great.
trollish was obviously coming from you, so... Yeah.
I don't consider that a troll. That Catron was
Oh, yeah, like human made of cat. It's not trollish at all. For our first meetup as Europeans.
Okay, I'll relog that one.
Maybe I should come back in as my 3D scan.
Yeah.
I want to see that, Reverend. I haven't actually seen that in here. I've only seen it on video.
Oh.
Yeah, it's terrible because of the way I rigged it. It makes me look like a gimpy penguin. Yeah, hold on, I'll be back.
That's okay. I just want to see you.
That's the funniest walk ever.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fixing up my textures, so I'm gonna hope to have my skin done here probably by next week.
Was Matt Stomps going to be here? Because I know he wears his on occasion.
Yeah, he couldn't
Should
make
be here.
it. He had a meeting he had to go to. He was super bummed about it too.
Oh, wow.
You can make it, Bilardo.
There's Catron.
Yeah, I'm glad I
Thank you.
could too, man.
Oh, God, I don't know if I've seen this one yet.
I haven't. Wow.
I've only shown it at the Euro meetups.
You gotta be European to see the cool shit.
Exactly.
You wore it to SVVR too, didn't you?
But that was that coincided with the Euro meetup.
Oh, that's
Reverend
right. That's right.
is here.
Hello, hello.
Reverend, you're
You look-
short compared to all the rest of us.
You look like a cyber version of yourself because of all there's little green lines on you. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'm
a
like
lawnmower
half
man.
beamed up. Yeah. It's a damn
Oh, you just
texture.
need to-
It's not good.
You
Yeah,
just need to
full stretch.
explode into lots of little pieces now.
I'll work on an animation.
Can dematerialize.
Yeah, Dark Akuma also made my avatar. It was actually, I believe, the first commission, so super stoked.
I made mine like 20 minutes ago. And it's the lack of animation.
We need the Oculus logo 3D object. Dude, Palmer can hook it up.
Yeah, but look, I could hook you up with that.
That'd be sweet. We could build a shrine or something in here.
Well, we have pictures.
Has anyone seen that eBay listing for the Oculus Shrine that's up right now?
Oh
Oh, the
no.
1 million one?
Yeah, it's up for $1 million.
Yeah. I
What?
saw that.
It's like
Pocket
it's like a
change.
signed Rift in a glass case with all of the magazines that have ever talked about us, and a poster and a shirt and everything.
And a DK too.
Wow.
I'm totally gonna buy that.
My shrine.
Does it have bids or is it just at the startup price?
That's the starting price.
Wonder how much I can get for my VRJam shirt. I mean, geez, $1 million for the pack.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh,
Don't
Kyle,
make fun, Blair. Don't
The
make
Rift
fun,
I'm
man.
using the Rift I'm using right now is from carton 1. I had a part of the first carton of Rifts delivered to me, so my Rift was at work, so I just opened up one of the several that I have sitting around.
if you
Wow.
give me that texture, I can fix you up a little bit there, Kyle.
Yeah, trust me. No, you can't. I'll send you the whole file so you can see what it is that we're working with, and then you'll understand why it looks like this. Yeah.
It's a
These
vertex,
are all
but-
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it's,
right,
ver-
yeah.
it's all vertex. Yeah.
But I've been able to take it out and get it into Mudbox, and you can actually paint it. I'm painting mine right now.
Oh, really? Okay, you'll have to show me how you did it in Mudbox. Okay.
Yeah, just from Maya to Mudbox, and then
Yeah,
clean
we can do
it.
it
I
in
also cleaned
ZBrush
it
or
up.
something.
Okay,
So
cool.
Less polys.
Yeah, we'll talk
Palmer,
about
you
that.
said
God.
Palmer, you said you had a 3D scan as well. I imagine yours
Yeah.
is better than these.
Yeah, it was taken at the ICT light stage, which is where they did all the body capture for Avatar and Spider-Man 2, so it's pretty good.
Is it
Lucky.
game ready and rigged?
No, not at all, and that's why it'll be a pain in the ass to do anything with it.
Give it to me, I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's also from like 2.5 years ago before I gained all the Oculus weight.
It's perfect, right?
My perfect self.
Gunter, are we streaming or are we recording right now, or are we not doing that till later?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
an
so
awesome
I was
model.
just playing with that. I actually been recording, yeah, for a while now. I'm just gonna stop that file and
This is the
start
one
a new
I'm
one.
planning on using in my
Okay,
demo.
You look like Slender
Yeah,
Man
it's
if
a-
Slender
Seems to
wasn't
carry
Slender.
Forest demo.
And it's not a stream, it's just a recording, by the way.
Yeah, I feel so funky. I miss my Hulk.
Or
The reception for all the game stuff you were showing off went. Get any
For
negatives?
E3?
Yeah.
No, it seemed pretty positive. The only negativity would be from people who were expecting to see more, I guess, but the actual reception seemed to be pretty well. And Lucky's Tale got a lot of good press from the press.
Yeah, it looked really good. I can't wait to try it out. Do you think that we'll see a demo of that with DK2
Maybe.
at all?
Maybe.
That's better than no.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily up to me. You know, we're working to publish the title, but it's really up to Paul and the rest of the Playful team.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man.
You should get technologized. That'll keep you happy.
That's a tiny Miku model. I have a lot of good Miku models if you want them.
This is a higher resolution one. I only found a high poly and a low
I mean
poly.
small as in size, as in you're short.
Oh, yeah, I set the scale, try to make her a little bit short. I don't know how tall she's supposed to be, but it's like probably like 5.5 feet or something.
Yeah, she's supposed to be 18 for legal reasons.
Woohoo!
Highway reasons.
18-year-olds can be short too.
Yep,
In Japan.
true.
Howdy, Kaylin. Welcome.
Kaylin, I haven't seen you in forever, man. Oh,
Oh,
there you
Oh,
go.
here comes Nate.
That's all you got. Scared him.
Sorry about that.
That's funny.
We will cut that out.
Nice Avatar.
This is all Worm's Lair.
Leave. haven't seen you in here in a long time. Not talking.
Yeah, this is the most time I've
That's
spent
the
in DK1.
Forgot I had to press the bloody key.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Dude, it's been so long.
Oh, it's Unity
Welcome
Chan.
back.
Yep, I just
Yeah,
got
this
this
is-
one
this is-
set up a couple weeks ago.
That's my favorite of Dark Akuma's models. Do the animations. Do them. Make them do stuff.
Oh, actually, I
Yeah.
think this one I took the animations out. I can
Aw.
load the other one. I can still load the other one with the animations with.
Hey, be honest, Palmer. Do you have your rift on your eyes, or is it just on top of your head?
No, it's on my eyes.
Oh, good.
I don't duplicate. That adds too much latency.
Right.
So you said you're sporting a DK2 right now then?
No.
No, I'm
more
using
than-
DK1. The old SDK isn't forward compatible with DK2. It was supposed to be for a long time, but things have changed a lot and gotten a lot better and better and better, and it became clear that to have legacy support was gonna really hold us back.
Is it reverse compatible?
As in, if you use the DK2 SDK, will it work with DK1?
Yes.
Yes, that is correct. Well, if you use the latest SDK, it will work with everything.
Oh, okay, perfect.
It's just we can't make DK2 compatible with all the old ones, which we've gotten as a request from a lot of people. But all it really enables is for abandoned VR demos to be forward compatible.
Right.
So, Palmer, do you think that the OSX SDK for Unity will be available when DK2 drops?
No.
I'd have to ask our SDK team. I mean, we have something working. We have Linux and macOS working. It's just, it's not as polished as the other ones because we spent most of our time polishing the integrations that we use for trade shows and stuff.
Peter's on vacation anyway, right? We won't know for at least a week.
Sort of. Nobody really ever goes on full vacation.
That sounds familiar.
Now I feel bad. He's getting my emails while he's on vacation.
Probably. But yeah, the Mac SDK we'll try to push it out, but I won't lie, the focus has been Windows.
Yeah, I mean, I have both, but I just have everything all on the Mac now, so it's nice.
Sure. Although, I mean, if are you using a Mac with Boot Camp or what?
I mean, I have virtual machines on it, but really I just use my I just move everything through the NAS to the PC usually.
Gotcha.
I don't like doing virtualization, like, you know, heavy graphics work in it or anything.
Well, is there a recentering key that allows me to recenter with my avatar?
I think it's
R.
Oh, you changed it?
If you have a gamepad, you
There we
can
go.
probably
I
do
got
it
it.
back as well.
I got it.
Those keys still need to be remappable.
They are actually in the latest version. You can remap all the controls in the launcher.
Fantastic.
The Unity launcher?
That's right. Yep.
Got it.
You still
So
get to
what's the
play with Unity much, Palmer?
I don't play much with Unity. I'm not a creative person. I wouldn't make anything interesting.
Did you save a couple pizza boxes so that way you can make a cardboard Google viewer?
No, I didn't. Cardboard's actually a terrible material for those anyway. How many people have seen FOV to go?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
I saw that today.
Yeah, we tried FOV to go. When we were doing FOV to go, we tried a lot of different materials, and foam core board worked because it was very easy to make something that was repeatable and that folded precisely and in repeatable ways. But the problem with cardboard is it has the corrugation inside, and unless you know exactly where the corrugation is and what the density is, and then line it up with your laser cutter so that it's perfect, the corrugation is always going to be in different places. So when you cut it, especially with coarse corrugation, it ends up folding up differently, and you can't get it to fold together perfectly like ever. So it's funny because the pictures they show, they're using this really, really thin cardboard, which might actually work well, but pizza box cardboard is about as heavily corrugated as it gets because they're trying to maximize the thermal characteristics, not the foldability.
Right, there's a lot of hair pockets in it.
Well, I'm just going to take a picture of myself with a bunch of cuts all over my face from the cardboard and put that on Twitter and see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't credit FOV to go or anything. Not that FOV to go was even the first to do the phone holder idea, but in terms of being a folding paper and paper product that has lenses in it, that was pretty much the first one out there, and it's almost fold for fold identical.
Hey, Palmer, when you were first starting up and everything, when did you realize that things were kind of taking off? Like, was it at the Kickstarter, like at the end of that, or you know, when was that kind of that point?
It was probably the Kickstarter, because prior to that, I didn't think it was gonna take off in such a big way. I mean, you got to remember the VR community at that point was all of like 20 active people on the internet, maybe less, and there were a lot more lurking, but not that many active people. So it really took off when it became clear that it wasn't just a few wacky VR nuts that were interested.
And then after that, did you like quit your day job and go full time on that?
I quit my day job prior to the Kickstarter, but
Oh,
you
really?
know, but it was a part-time job anyway. So I dropped out of college, which was the bigger deal.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Your parents freak out when you did that?
Yeah, they freaked out earlier. I actually didn't drop the story that I dropped out isn't quite as straightforward as people think. It wasn't just that I decided that I was going to do something else. It was that I'll spare the details, but it was a combination of administrative bullshit and getting screwed over by the California State University budget cuts. And so I ended up having to miss a semester of school. And so I was going to take a semester off anyway, and I just decided to not go back.
Gotcha.
So that was a good
Hey,
move.
what was the name of that juice that you said you bought a bunch of when you got some money?
Oh, I'd have to go check. It's something local. It's like fresh squeezed organic juice. Now I don't care about things being organic at all, but
Right.
it's some local thing.
My thing is pretty much everything you ingest is organic, hopefully.
No, I really like scientifically engineered foods.
Right. No, but I mean like it's organic, as in it's not mineral
Oh,
or
yes, exactly.
those strange labels.
Although I hear mineral oil is a good laxative.
I'm sure of it.
Who do you work with most on a daily basis? Like when you go to work, are you just tinkering, or what's the?
I work with everybody. There's tinkering, but usually in terms of hardware projects, I tend to act more in a project manager role these days. And then there's always lots of PR stuff and lots of talking to developers, especially the bigger developers that insist on, even if I'm not helpful to them, they insist on having the founder in their meeting because it makes them feel good.
Of course.
Luckily, after the first meeting, they realize I don't need to be in any of the later ones.
Yeah, it's cool to say you had Palmer in your meeting, though. Yeah, he showed up late, but it was okay.
Yeah, it's especially true for foreign devs because, maybe they don't have a perfect grasp on exactly what's going on, but they know that they met with the founder of the company, and that's a big deal. And that's actually true for component manufacturers too. Like, you want to meet with them, it's like, oh yes, we want to meet with Palmer. We really Palmer has to be in the meeting. Will Palmer be at the meeting? And so we have to make that happen.
Wow, cool. I assume by your half-assed accent that these guys are Asian.
Yeah, I didn't want to go further. I used up my racist quota for the day.
Right.
So you and Samsung are getting along pretty well?
We don't comment on rumors or speculation.
What
Wait,
you drink,
you can do-
Chief?
You need an animation for your wild speculation in here.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun animation to have.
Do you enjoy the PR side of things? And, getting out with the community and stuff, Palmer? I mean,
Did you
is
say
that
the...
something-
I forgot to hit the V key. Did you say VR side or PR side?
Like PR side, is that something that you really enjoy doing, or wish you're doing more tech side stuff?
I mean, I was a journalism major before I dropped out, so I wanted to be a tech journalist. So I get along well with tech journalists. I think that's actually really helped the Rift. That they kind of see me as one of them. But yeah, I guess I enjoy doing it. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but someone has to do it, and I'm pretty good at it, and Nate's pretty good at it, so we do a lot of it.
No, you do a great job. I'm always looking for. I always try to catch anything that you're talking, because usually something funny is gonna pop off.
Yeah, there's.
Super hot.
I'm a fun person. Oh man, Super Hot's so good.
They need a demo. They've only got the 2D demo on their website. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth trying, even in 2D.
I'm such a drag that like people, I don't know. I'm like, as soon as I have something that I think people will even remotely enjoy, I want to get it out there. And I hate when people like hold on to their stuff and they're like, no demo. It drives me nuts.
Sure.
Yeah, but then you don't want to show something that's just not quality. Or I don't know. That's
You can
probably-
polish a demo though. Like it doesn't have to be much.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was actually a question that I wanted to ask, was at what stage do you and or Oculus want to hear about projects? Because I know I get pissed off when I'm like on the subreddit and somebody comes on saying, I have this great idea, but I'm not going to share it, and I need a whole team to do it, and it would be great.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm sure you have a million of those in your inbox. But
Yeah, we much prefer when people come to us where they have some kind of working demo, even if it isn't great. If it can prove out even one concept, then it's worth something. Although I don't think that thing with people wanting people to dev their whole game for them is unique to the VR community. You see it in all kinds of other ones.
But you do prefer to see things fairly early, rather you don't necessarily want a fully polished thing. That would be nice, but you're looking to help devs who are in the early stages and needing help.
Yeah, I mean the kind of help we're usually doing is it's usually more technical help. There's a lot of people who have problems getting things to work correctly at all. We do less help in terms of trying to direct creative vision or gameplay because we don't yet have all that many people who can help well with that. So we like seeing things early on, but not so early that there's nothing to try.
What about best practices? Do you advise on those when you get demos in? Or just leave it to people to read the document?
No, I mean we do give them feedback, and a lot of them don't read the document and give us demos. So we definitely have to do a lot of pointing to that best practices guide.
So
it's hard to keep up though. There's so many people coming in. Like it's really hard to keep up with all of the devs, and we're hiring more and more dev relations people, but it's been an issue because there's just not enough people in Oculus to play every demo and work with every dev that reaches out, and that means that some fall through the cracks that we wish would not have.
Palmer,
hey, that sounds like a fun job.
You may have talked to Rave TZ, Justin, a bit about this, but we've been trying to get a sort of semi-private group of VR developers together, in part to help with that, because we know that the burden on Oculus is such that you can't be playing all these demos at various stages, and you might not even be the right people to be doing that necessarily. I think it would probably be helpful.
I saw the Reddit thread on that.
Right. Yeah, there's been some work going on behind the scenes. We're hoping to actually do that and send invitations to like everybody in this room and a bunch of other people within a couple of weeks maybe. So we might want to talk further about that and how we can help you guys not have to deal with handling every dev individually all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Because we definitely can't do it right now, and even as we expand, the best. Our technical people can help anybody solve their technical problems, but it's not like everyone in Oculus, and certainly not the DevRel people, have experience with every VR problem out there, especially around gameplay.
So about the best practices thing, like originally Technolust was going to be, a seated experience without moving and stuff. But what do you think about the issue of not being able to sell that? Like if I did say like couch nights as a Kickstarter, it wouldn't work, right? Like people need to see like craziness, like people aren't going to go for just a seated experience. So like, what do you think about that?
What do you mean seated experience? You mean in the virtual world, seated in the virtual world, or
Yeah,
seated in the real world?
No, well, yeah,
Well, seated in the
because
virtual world. I mean that demo wasn't made as something we expect everyone to do. And we say that we want people to do seated experiences. We don't mean that the person has to be seated in the VR game.
no,
I think that's
I know,
maybe been misinterpreted. We're just saying don't make things where you need to stand up, because it's hard for us to promote anything because the liability concerns are so high. And it's easy for other VR companies maybe to say, oh, look at, we can stand up just fine. But it's easy to do that when all you have is an internal project that doesn't have to ship in that form. And I'd actually be very surprised if any of them can get that through lawyers and to consumers.
Right, but I actually meant more like lack of player locomotion, like first-person locomotion, right? Because like rotating with an analog stick and stuff, there's problems with that, especially with new VR users. So like, do you think it's okay to just keep pushing with the first-person locomotion and hope that,
sure.
things like positional tracking and stuff will sort out?
People are still figuring it out. We're not saying that that it can't be figured out, but if we're going to be promoting things, especially at shows, it's often safer to stick to things that we are very sure do work. So yeah, we're not trying to tell people to stop doing first-person locomotion. And even at like E3, we showed off several demos with first-person locomotion.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And there's even a difference between just games with first-person locomotion and games with bad first-person locomotion, like Titanfall or Call of Duty are probably not going to be the best fits for the Rift, but Super Hot works really well.
Right, just mostly because of like speed, right?
Speed and all. It's not just the speed; it's also how frequently you change direction and how frequently you change velocity, and those games have that problem a lot more.
Do you have like people on your team? Like I don't know what that would be, like neuroscientists or something.
Yeah, we've
like,
got 2 psychologists on the team that do a lot of testing around that. The best practices guide will expand a lot over time, but we can't just like keep putting in little things line by line. We have to actually prove them out and gather data, and so it takes time to have something that we can put into a new revision.
Cool.
So I have a recommendation. Maybe we could all circle up and kind of go around a circle.
Other
and
advice would you
introduce
give
ourselves?
for any developers? Because I know, especially now with everything ramping up, there's a lot of big companies trying to get in, and you're working with them as well. And I know you're also working with indie developers. But how? And I don't know if you have any advice, but how can we stay afloat when all these big guys are coming in and doing their thing?
I mean, the people who won the mobile revolution were not the big publishers; they were the devs. And even when the bigger publishers got in, they mostly were doing shitty adaptations of existing IP. So I think VR is going to be pretty similar. It isn't going to be driven by AAA brand names. I mean, they're hopefully those are a big part of it, but I don't think it's going to be the same dominance that we see on console or even PCs. I think it'll be a lot more similar to mobile, where you see small players sticking out easily. And in all of our efforts to promote games and monetize games, we're not going to give favor to AAAs over indies. It's going to be purely based on what we think the right thing to promote is.
So what is the right thing to promote right now for Oculus? What are you looking
Rainbow
for?
Dash.
Rainbow Dash.
I guess right now we're looking for things that we know will work for launch, and it limits us a little bit because we're not necessarily looking to invest in the things that are, like, personally, things that devs we want to work with. They're not necessarily devs that we think are doing, the most exciting, crazy, radical thing. It's the things that we know will work pretty well with most people, which I think is the direction we're going to have to, I think that's the direction we're going to keep pushing in the near future.
So there are still some pretty bad problems with first-timers, certain people who are susceptible to simulator sickness, even in the DK2.
And that is largely content dependent. DK1, it's how first-timers feel in DK1 depends on how strongly they react to the problems that DK1 has, and also to the problems that any software will have. DK2 is much further along, so we can make experiences that don't make any first-time users feel bad, or some tiny percentage of first-time users feel bad, and that's a good step. But we're not to the point where any experience can feel good for everyone, including first-timers, and that's one of the reasons we have to focus on experiences people can almost always use, because our position has to be, look, our hardware can work well, and our software can work well. You can make things that don't make people feel disoriented, and anything that does is, that's down to the software and the experience, not to Oculus or the Rift.
Yeah, it's a delicate balancing act, because I already have done a few demos for some influential people, and, I say, I could put you on the Starship Enterprise, and they say, oh, that would be amazing, and 5 minutes later they're like,
Yeah, and we have that issue, and we want everything that comes from us officially to not lead to that. It gives us it gives us a stronger position to talk to people from.
How much first-party content do you envision there being for the eventual launch?
Can't really say.
Some, at least, probably.
I mean, there's going to be multiple things. It won't just be one thing, and we're not focusing on one big giant project as much as it is, multiple smaller things.
So I'm curious, what did? Oh, go ahead.
No,
go ahead, Blair.
I was just wondering, there's been talk from Nate recently about doing some sort of control scheme for the Rift, or coming with a controller or something, and the purchase of the team from Carbon or whatever.
What's on their hands?
Is it something that you guys kind of feel bad about, things like STEM or something? Say you do release your own motion controller. Do you think that there's a lot of people working on things that they're just kind of spinning their wheels on because you guys are working on it as well?
Well, it's not just necessarily things that we're making. That happens in any industry. There are people working on things, and then new people enter, and whether it's us or someone else, someone is often going to get rolled over. It's kind of like, let me think. It's kind of like how I like domestic automobiles, and I would prefer to buy an American car, yet I know that the Japanese are kicking our ass in a lot of ways on cars, so I drive a Japanese car. I think that our goal is to make the very best thing, not necessarily to hold off on something because someone else has a product that's maybe inferior.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't saying that you should hold off on it, but maybe I don't know.
Well,
I would feel bad, want to give them warning or something.
Well, it's not just potential other hardware. It's true for any software we make for the Rift too. We're in this position where we have a lot of internal projects that we're working on, and sometimes people outside of Oculus completely independently end up working on similar projects.
Right.
And we're not doing this to try and roll over people or because we want to screw them. But at the same time, we can't go to them and be like, "Hey guys, heads up, we're going to be doing what you're doing, so stop."
Yeah, I guess. I know that that's going to happen, and I don't know. I don't know why I feel bad because it's got nothing to do with me. Hopefully, you guys aren't making like a cyberpunk adventure, are you?
No, we're not making any cyberpunk adventures. I can say that with certainty.
I think you're safe, Blair.
Okay, good.
For
Good
now.
question.
You know, it's funny, Blair. You actually asked the question I was just about to ask, so I'm glad you brought it up.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, because like I've been working with the Prio suit, and it's like then Control VR came out, and it's like
Yeah, that's a
you know
perfect.
all
That's actually what I had in mind. I mean, like
yeah
Control VR came out, and I'm not saying it's better or worse, but clearly the perception is that they seem to be doing a better job at least promoting themselves. So whether or not the tech is better, they're definitely doing a great job of getting themselves into the mainstream consciousness.
yeah exactly. And it's funny though. Like I'm not really interested in the Prio suit for gaming as much as I am motion capture, and that's kind of where they they kind of split in the middle. You know, like Control VR would be great to do mocap for hands, but it's only upper body, so it's like we need the two to get together, or like
Well,
maybe
don't
Prio
forget that
will do glove tracking.
Prio said that in their AMA that right after they finish their suit, they're going to be starting to work on gloves.
Yeah, I know they are going to work on gloves, but it's also a matter of keeping the cost down, right? Like how much is Control VR? It's like $600 or something.
600, yeah.
Yep.
And
I still don't
there's
understand how they
4
do
for
that.
Prio.
I mean, those gloves that they're using, those are like $6,000 sets of gloves. I don't know how they're doing that cost.
Because the $6,000 gloves never needed to be $6,000.
Yeah, exactly.
They just didn't make that.
I mean, so look at the whole professional VR industry. The costs are not driven by the components or the hardware. It's driven by everything else: the administration, the R&D, and big healthy profit margins for everybody to keep going.
Plus the low quantity of stuff going out previous to now.
Yeah. And so you can get higher quantities now, which is nice. I mean, if you want to feel bad for someone, feel bad for the VR headset companies that have, like, at least other, like, software and input things, they can compete by pivoting into slightly different, niches of doing something better. But imagine if you're a professional virtual reality headset manufacturer, you're not in a good place right now.
Yep, poor WorldViz. This is like a $26,000 headset.
Well, but that's the thing. Nobody's really buying them anymore. Especially with DK2, and then a CV1 will be even better. We're going to surpass pretty much all of the professional head-mounted displays, even in the superficial specifications. And the overall experience will be much, much better. And so even the people with tons of money, they're excited because they can put the money into other parts of the project, or they can have multi-user, or they can deploy it more places, or whatever. Even the people who have millions of dollars to spend on their projects are not excited about spending tens of thousands of dollars per headset.
Has anybody in the military asked you for a more rugged version of the Rift?
Yep, it's not happening.
Well, why not? You don't want to work for the military anymore?
No, I love the military. It's because it's a huge engineering effort to make an entirely separate product. The trade-offs are very different. I mean, our product isn't exactly our product is not exactly fragile. It's already fairly durable, and we're planning on having more replaceable parts for the consumer product. So the only parts that do degrade should be replaceable. But for a ruggedized version or a shock-proof version for field use, that's not what we're trying to do. We'd have to sell it for so much money. We'd have to sell for a lot of money to make back all of the R&D.
And are you guys connecting with companies kind of outside of the game realm? Say people like Jaunt or something that have possibilities in other sectors, right? Like security and stuff like that.
Yeah, we connect with all of those people. We don't really do as much for them right now because we're focused on games. I'm amazed that Jaunt raised the money they did.
Yeah, I have a meeting with the Bubble Cam guys on Friday. I can't wait to see what their stuff's like. But it's really interesting because they can stream, right? They can stream it live, like straight to a camera, or straight to a Rift, rather.
Sure. The big problem with live video capture is that in VR is that right now everything is fundamentally broken. You don't get any translation. You don't get any. You don't even have any kind of head model. The stereo breaks whenever you tilt your head from being perfectly level,
Oh, yeah,
and it might not.
exactly.
You might not be apparent how broken it is until you tilt your head enough that you can't fuse anymore. But even just very slight tilting back and forth can give people headaches.
Right. I think that the Jaunt is claims they're stereoscopic, but bubble cam's just flat. But
Yeah, and I think that flat can work well. It's just flat.
yeah, exactly. And for like I said, like things like my head over top of an.
my God,
That's the body
everybody's
used in
invading
the
your
Rain
personal
AI demo
Oh,
thing.
cool.
Isn't it? That's the body for that.
Oh, there he is.
Can I make a suggestion?
The
I think it would be
3D
great
Unity.
if we
Yeah, I've used that one for stuff.
Sure.
Is this mic working?
So I'm planning, like, after I
It's
get
really
DK2
quiet, Gunter.
How about now?
run a game jam out here, and I was
Is
wondering
that right?
who.
Little
can I
better.
speak to
Still a
someone
little quiet though.
specifically about,
Dang.
I would just probably want to borrow some like DK1s.
Borrow
and I'd
some
give 'em back to you.
DK1s. We are very low on DK1s. There are not many in existence at this point. Because keep in mind that it's not like we've just had them sitting because we reserved a certain number so that we could cover returns and failures and stuff and replacements. But at the same time, it's been months since we stopped selling DK1. But in the meanwhile, we've still continued to give them to like a few devs, and still had to replace customers with broken units. So we're pretty much out of DK1. So loaning them would be tough.
Okay. Well, I mean,
What
I
about
can-
HD prototypes?
that would-
HD prototypes. We haven't made those for quite some time. We're actually in the process of recalling most of them.
Oh, they'll be limited items then.
Well, so everyone who has an HD prototype, I believe we didn't sell those. They were given to people and lent to people, so we can ask for them back whenever we want. So they shouldn't be just limited. They should be non-existent if we're successful.
Yeah.
The legendary HD prototype.
Are you gonna bury them in the desert with the ET cartridges?
Yeah. They found those.
No, we're gonna bury them at sea. We're in California.
Nice.
They'll be washing up on the beach.
You find them on the other side.
No, there's that big spiral garbage thing in the Pacific they could end up in.
Sure, Pacific Jar.
Yeah.
So does anyone here have a submarine? Because we're all gonna go hunting afterwards, I imagine.
I'm gonna learn to swim.
What would you want it for? if you had
That's
a
the one that
DK2
sell
or
on
a
eBay,
DB1, what would you want the HD prototype
Probably.
for?
The history.
$1 million eBay auction. There you go.
Right.
Slightly waterlogged.
Yep. $1 million, but it's free shipping. It's all worth it.
That's right.
So, I got a video game question. Since we are right in the middle of the Steam sales, is there any game that you would recommend, or that game that is going to be future-proof for VR?
Sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah, since we are right in the middle of the Steam summer sales, is there any game you would recommend, or game that is going to be good for VR?
That already has Rift support, or that may
Or
get
is
it?
going to have, yeah, at some point.
Not really. There's not that many games that are on Steam that are going to have Rift support that don't already have it. At least not that I can say publicly.
What are your thoughts on?
Did you try Alien Isolation in the Rift?
Yeah, I've played through all the demos quite a few times.
You like it? It's good.
It is very good. They spent a lot of time getting it right. The HUD's really interesting.
Yeah, I love that. They like recorded it through video and like stomped on the wires on the VCR and stuff to make the HUD look old school.
Yeah, and the HUD's actually in 3D space, which is nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it makes up for Colonial Marines.
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that can make up for that. Although, look at it this way. Maybe they can continue the tradition of showing something at E3 that comes out as something totally different.
Right.
Yeah.
Palmer, this is Gunter, and curious on your thoughts of all this VR social stuff that's starting to emerge, of course, here in VRChat, RiftMax, and it kind of started for a lot of us in Minecraft.
Well, like
Minecraft. Is that coming through?
Well,
I might be low.
It's always seemed like an obvious place for VR to go. If you look at science fiction, it has not been dominated by looking at how virtual reality will impact video games. It's always been about parallel virtual worlds and people being people that they aren't in spaces that aren't real. So it seems like social interaction with everybody having their own avatars has been a promise of VR probably before people were thinking about using it to play games.
Is it surprising to see this already emerging while the developer kit's still out?
It would have been surprising pre-dev kit, but it seems like such a powerful thing.
Sure.
That of course people are going to do it as soon as it's possible.
That's what happened.
Yeah, I'm just stunned that that we get this crew of people back week after week after week, spending hours in their rifts at a time. It seems to me like it's the best use of VR completely from top to bottom.
Yeah, and it will get even better once there's. I think it'll get really interesting once there's a way to integrate games and content with this kind of environment. Where it can be kind of like the real world, where people can get together and do activities together.
Play names.
Yeah.
Or D&D.
Or bring back the arcade virtually.
That's not a bad idea.
Right now.
I wonder if someone's working on a game like that. Like a round table D&D game. Tabletop.
I know someone.
Another natural 20, Blair.
There's someone who's working on a D&D game that has where the dungeon master can script stuff and set up 3D models, so you can actually have a representation of what's going on.
Cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that would be
So
really
cool.
cool. I'd like to work something like that.
Yeah, it'll be a big project to get it so that it's easy for someone to be a dungeon master without also being a great scripter and animator and everything else.
Yeah. So I have a question about are you guys going to be maybe giving some more best practices about GUIs?
I think I mentioned earlier, maybe before you dropped in, but we're working on updating the best practices guide a lot. So we have a lot of stuff that hasn't made it in yet.
Now, is the best practices guide is great already, and it's something that everybody really should read, but it is just a document, and the SDK is really easy to use, but after you've dropped it into Unity or whatever, you kind of have to start from that point. You have to go in and implement the GUI that makes sense in VR and decoupled head motion and all of that. I'm trying to get some devs to put that together, but is that anywhere in Oculus's roadmap? Are you guys going to be releasing templates like that for stuff beyond
we've
just
been
the head
talking
tracking?
about we've been talking about doing stuff particularly around showing what best practices, what the bad practices are.
Right.
So a variety of things that show you what's something good and what's something right, potentially with the ability to switch back and forth quickly, so that you between two similar things, one done right and one done wrong. I think that'll help people get their heads around a lot of things and maybe work as a bit as a template for different ideas. No.
Have you guys been
Regarding all
working with
these,
the 4.6 Unity stuff, the new GUI stuff?
We've been working with it a little bit, but we've mostly been working more on the technical parts of the SDK than specific Unity features or Unreal features.
I have a question that's specific to the SDK. I was wondering if in the future you will allow multiple applications to get access to the sensors so that, for example, I'm working on a virtual desktop, so I would want to be able to switch between apps and the desktop and so that it's smooth. So is there a plan in the future to allow multiple apps to have access to the sensors?
Yeah, that's part of the DK2 SDK.
Cool, perfect.
So are the Unity engineers working hard with your guys on like supporting the Oculus Rift within the Unity engine as well, not just the SDK?
Yeah, I mean, you mean like for people who are just using this out-of-the-box Unity integration?
Well, I was thinking specifically like for technical or rendering things they could do to reduce latency in their engine or anything like that.
Yeah, we've got Time Warp packed into Unity right now, so we're polishing it for release. Right now, not everything made it into Unity and Unreal. It's just in the C SDK, but it's going to make it into all of our engine integrations at launch.
Awesome.
Do you guys have like pre-copies of Unity 5?
No, we buy all our seats.
What? No. What?
What?
Right.
I asked if you had copies of Unity 5 in the office.
Oh, I thought you said, do we get free copies of Unity 5? No.
He means like betas.
Yeah, we're working on integrating with all the new stuff. Actually, there was I think at Unite Japan, they were showing off some demos on Unity 5 on DK2.
I guess I can ask the question you were touching on before about the possibility of Oculus support in Unity free.
Yeah, you'll have to ask them. It's not us. We have to use features that are in Unity Pro. There's no way to make them work without them, at least not in a way that doesn't circumvent their terms of use. So it really is up to them.
I saw that thread where people were getting free to work. Does that actually work?
There are ways to get free to work, but they are not necessarily kosher with the Unity terms of service.
And they're
Certainly
a pain
not.
in the ass to package as a demo or anything. Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Not
and
even as performance.
and yeah, not just performance as it currently exists, but if you want to do things like use Time Warp, you're going to have a real hell of a time trying to make it work with anything but Unity Pro. So we'll see.
It'll snap out of it eventually and actually do
Hopefully,
something with it.
now that Oculus support is part of Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine is competing so hard with Unity.
Exactly.
I have a question.
Competition's a good thing.
How much performance increase are you seeing with Time Warp?
Well, Time Warp doesn't necessarily increase performance. It just masks bad performance. So performance can still be poor, and the technical performance can be poor on the render side, and you can still have an acceptable VR experience. So that's pretty significant. Like, we have demos that are running at 15 frames a second, and at least from a thickness perspective, nobody feels the latency. There are other visual artifacts that start to manifest themselves. In particular, objects that are moving through the environment and animations look really janky, but it at least allows you to correct for short problems without having, like, if there's a hiccup in the frame rate, it's not a hiccup in how the virtual world is moving in relation to you. So it makes a big difference. Everyone should use it.
So with the DK2 is what, 75?
Yeah, DK2 is 75 hertz.
Right. So is that something that you're trying to, make sure that everybody hits, or is like Time Warp trying to help that a little bit? Like getting a full-blown game running in stereoscopic at 75 plus frames is getting crazy. I can do 75, but I think 90 is going to be pushing it.
Yeah, we are pushing people to do it. Time warp isn't a cure-all that makes everything look great even at lower frame rates. It can't work miracles. So yeah, we're still pushing people to run at 75 hertz.
Is there anything in Unreal been able to accomplish that aside from like an empty room? Really?
Yeah. Well, everything we were running at E3 was solid 75 frames a second, even Alien.
You need to manage your distortion scale and everything well, but yeah, you can get it running on even not super top.
It's also worth noting that Unreal Engine 4 is not nearly as optimized.
Can't talk, dude. Gotta go. Sorry, man. Interviewing Palmer. Gotta go. Bye. Damn.
It will become over time.
Yeah.
So you can pull it off right now, and it'll get easier and easier to pull off. No, people ask us what the rigs are, like, a lot, because they're like, oh, what does Oculus use, as if that's a minimum requirement. But we just buy the best hardware that's out there. So it was all 780 Ti's and Intel 4770s, I think, with 32 gigs of RAM. But not all of the demos needed that much horsepower to run that fast. It's just what all of our demo machines are, as much power as we can get in them.
So the other thing that I saw at one of the things I saw at E3 was that Eve Valkyrie with the UE4 engine running on both the DK2 and the Morpheus. I had an opportunity to ask the Sony guys about the whole exclusivity thing. So is Eve Valkyrie exclusive for Oculus, or is it exclusive for Sony? How is that working out?
Calling his lawyer.
Yeah. No, I know. It's a hard question.
Drink.
I think it's
Be key again.
Drink.
Maybe Sony's for the console exclusive, meaning it's not going to be on Xbox or Wii.
So, sorry, I forgot to hit V.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't say too much, but the current status is that it's exclusive to Oculus on PC.
Okay, because we joked about a Sony PS4 game box that had the Oculus logo, produced by Oculus or something like that.
Sure.
What do you think of the high fidelity stuff and, even Second Life?
Oh man, here we go.
It's a fair question.
I don't have anything that interesting to say. It's not
Sure.
It's not super exciting to me at this point.
I like Second Life.
I like the work that they're doing in there.
For doing something once.
Yeah, Blair, you talked about how you sold some stuff, and that's how you could buy your Rift. Is that correct?
Yeah, I still sell stuff. Like, that's the thing, is you make some assets once, and you put them up on the asset store, and you make money every day. It's crazy. I think that's great.
Sure.
Wait, so you sold your body to buy a Rift?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that's the thing about Second Life. I hate going into Second Life because you're constantly harassed by furries and weirdos, but great way to make money.
Like in here.
Have you tried it?
Well, yeah, so my perspective changed a little bit when I recently had Chrysania on my show, who's a performer in there, who's done charity work in Second Life, and, I was interested in bringing her on because she wasn't a fanboy, and she really did open my eyes to a lot of different stuff and things that I think are beneficial to our community as well. But no, I haven't played much of it. I tried it once, and it didn't work in the Rift very well, so that's not going to happen for me. But
Every time I've ever tried logging into Second Life, I felt like I was in the audience of like a Maury Povich episode.
So, assuming that Oculus and Facebook are going to try and build some sort of metaverse program, what's the ideal kind of scenario for a metaverse for you? Like, is it player-driven content, or is it like just you guys build it well?
Well, that would be impossible. It's impossible to build a metaverse that has all the content built by one company.
Right.
So it would have to be player driven.
But don't you think it's also impossible to do it without the problems that Second Life has if it is player driven?
No, I think you can do it without a lot of. I mean, so a lot of the problems Second Life has are just that it's a very poor, very old technical implementation in a lot of ways. And a lot of the problems that Second Life has, even aside from Second Life's problems, it was limited by PC hardware of the time. So like one of the biggest problems is, how do you figure out how many polys to dedicate to each user? How do you make a system that can work reliably when your players don't have access to the code base? And I don't think Second Life solved all those problems that well.
Is it something that you personally are interested in? Is like a good metaverse program for the rest? I guess so. I would assume so.
Well, yes, definitely. I can't say too much about it. Partly because we can't talk about certain parts, and partly because it's so early on to speculate what the right metaverse will be.
Right.
Did you get to check out any of No Man's Sky? What'd you think of that?
I can't say.
That's good.
Okay. Did they say they're doing Rift support?
They've not announced Rift support.
Right. So it's funny that you can't say anything.
So many maybe.
Don't you love it? I love it. I absolutely love all the things that we have to look forward to, or not.
Sure.
Oh, I don't, man. I'm so sad. I miss playing games. I don't get to play anything because I'm making one.
Yeah, exactly. Get back to work. What are you doing here?
Yeah, really. Come on, man. It's almost July. Where's my game?
We're trusting
I
our
backed
techno
you, and
list.
here you are just hanging out.
Oh, it's ready.
Want my money back.
Blair, somebody referred to your avatar here as a bobblehead.
Yeah, that's what my girlfriend said it was too. It is.
love it.
I'm covering up the crappy little head that's underneath. I honestly had like 20 minutes to throw it together.
You should 3D print them and sell them with your game.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually.
Monetize, man.
I'll
Palmer,
charge
what's
you
your,
today for $1 million.
I used this head in the game and put it in like a fortune-telling machine, like big. It's like an animatronic fortune teller, so that would be cool to print out as well.
So you're like Zoltar from Big.
Yeah, exactly. I'm exactly like Zoltar.
Palmer, what's your favorite TF2 class? I'm a big fan of TF2.
My favorite TF2 what?
Class. What do you like to play in primarily?
Heavy. I only play as heavy.
Yeah, I kind of thought that.
is heavy too.
Yeah. I should have kept my medic avatar for the occasion.
Yeah, I'm a big heavy fan, and medic as well. I really enjoy playing medic. I did that on the tournament level for a bit, and it was a lot of fun.
I used to love Demo Man until they nerfed it with the mid-air explosions.
Yep.
Yeah, Demo Man's kind of fun.
Are we ever going to see a return of the game nights with the Oculus crew?
Yeah, I know. I would love to see that happening. I was thinking of posting about...
It'll return at some point, probably after we have more time.
So you guys are on a bit of a forced march right now towards the deadline. Do you have? I mean, I'm not talking about release date, but do you know when you'll have time to relax?
When it's over.
By 2017, certainly.
Yeah.
Never.
Nah, by then we'll be working hard all over again.
I was wondering, it's been sufficient time now. Has there been any sort of glossaries and terms which are kind of brand new that you use in-house? Anything for the various demo types or the various things, not existing words and stuff from all the cliched, sci-fi? Is there any kind of brand new things you've coined?
Not really. We're not very creative people.
I find that a very odd statement.
Well, I mean, in terms of coming up with fun terms and acronyms, it's not our strongest.
Can we get a shirt that just says it's goddamn virtual reality?
Yeah, we do say that a lot. So maybe we'll get a shirt that says that. Probably something for the community to handle first.
So I kind of thought, like, there's a talk about the comfortable VR demo and stuff. I was wondering if there'd be, like, a name, you know, something snappier. Because there's a lot of these phrases I imagine you find yourself repeating on a regular basis that, you know, would do with some kind of a name.
No, it'd just be like comfortable VR demo.
Yeah, what happened to that?
What happened to...
Worm, I believe we are looking for clarification on your statement or
Yes.
question.
I love where everyone just looked at each other confused. That was amazing.
Was you in Villa in Rio?
Worm
And
will be
Worm
back.
is it.
I thought I had cut out.
He's
So,
like it
we
work
thought
over
you did
here,
too.
so
He's doing smileys on Skype.
use your console, Worm.
Palmer, you said you're a fan of Tech TV. Did you, or yeah, all that? Did you watch when it was back in Tech TV, or when they turned into Twit and Rev 3?
Yeah, I've been watching them back since it was back since Tech TV, before Tech TV was part of G4, maybe right around when they were no longer ZDNet, and then all of the good people left and did their own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I learned so much from them. I pretty much love those guys because of what they were doing, and I'm here in South Florida, so I don't get exposed to as much. So it was definitely breath of fresh air until they, of course, left Tech TV. But them going out on their own was really a great thing to see, and see them being able to control their own content.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Although I was really sad to see some of, I guess, the budget that they had as a big organization go away.
Sure, I was.
Did you frame your Wired magazine yet?
No, it's sitting. It's just sitting.
You're gonna frame it though, right?
I think our office is having one framed, but I am not framing one myself. I just hang a mirror up.
Paint Wired on a mirror.
You're going to
No,
have
just
to
a
go to
mirror.
the Sith Lord for all Halloweens from now on, though, you know.
Yep, that's what I'll have to be. It's actually
Somebody should
weird
really
because
Photoshop the eyes
that other picture in the article, the one where it looks like I'm wearing way too much makeup, that was actually the exact same shot that they got the cover photo
sorry,
from
what?
in the Wired magazine. So if you look further in the article, there's a picture of me where I'm wearing way too much makeup and I'm with all of the other founders, and the cover picture was taken at the same time. So they added in all of those shadows and stuff artificially. I actually looked perfect and had flawless lighting.
So are you
Actually shoot
satisfied
force
with
lightning.
the recent animated GIFs of you from the
What did I
from
miss?
the E3 thing?
Yeah. I'm a GIF fan. I don't know, even though the creator says GIF.
Oh, that's right. We had this conversation.
Yeah, we
already.
did.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Don't tell me that.
Right now.
Skip.
I'm sorry, I
If it's
can't
May
change.
May, I'm going to shoot them.
May May? Who said that?
Yeah, if anyone says that, I'm going to shoot them. I hate that phrase.
What's that? Is that supposed to be meme?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There are
I've
people
heard
who say May May.
people
It drives
actually
me
say
insane.
this in real life.
Richard Dawkins is rolling in his grave.
Yep.
Totally.
So how many DK2s are you going to keep for yourself?
I don't know. I kept a lot of DK1s. I keep one in my car usually, so I can, in case I need one or need to give someone to one. But I don't know. I might do that with DK2.
Who do you give them to? You just like random people? You
No,
just
no,
buy
like
an hamburger?
well, like I
Just Oprahing down the street, just throwing them out the
Yeah,
car window.
yeah.
You get one. You get one.
You get a rift. You get a rift.
Try again.
just
That's
a
awesome.
single rift for for example, if I'm at a trade show, like I drive to shows if I can, or like when I went to CES, I had a couple in my trunk just in case, and I think we gave one of them away to a developer we met there who needed who needed a rift during the show. So just emergencies, you know.
Is there any crazy over-engineered sort of case designs and stuff sort of messing you've got? Anyone like overly customized there with their own rift with crazy stuff or anything?
No, everyone just uses the normal case.
You're a little depressed that the DK2 isn't going to be as easy to put googly eyes on.
Oh, it won't be that hard. Just have to use little googly eyes.
Right.
There's a video tutorial on YouTube on how to do it.
Yeah, those are super hot guys that did that with me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start selling googly eyes that are made out of the material that the IR can get through.
Actually, that'd potentially be worse. It's better to have them occluded than to have them go through a lensing material that would cause the center of projection to be visible but off. So you're actually better off just blocking them than you are manipulating the path of light.
Oh well, there goes that business model.
So that's something interesting actually. Like the plastic that's on the front of the DK2. What's the deal? Is that
infrared
something new?
It's infrared transparent. So
yeah.
Usually you see it as shiny, you know, like on the front of remotes and stuff. Ours is just treated to be matte. It's kind of magical.
Yeah, it is kind of magical. I like it.
So one of the things I was asking people as they were coming out of the Oculus booth at E3 was what color they wanted the CV1 to be. Do you have any preferences on color?
Of course.
Transparent.
Perfect answer. There you go.
I actually would
really
love
expecting the
transparent, but
Model
it's not
T
going to happen.
You want transparent? Okay, you want to see the guts?
Yeah, I love it.
Man, I wish transparent electronics were still cool.
Yeah. I remember the Game Boy like that.
Yeah, exactly.
The old Mac.
Hey, I had a phone like that.
Yeah, I was thinking the clear phone too, Rev.
Yeah, I was the bomb.
Yeah.
Yep, atomic purple was the best color.
Ooh, that brings back memories.
Yep.
Atomic purple.
Jungle green.
What's one of the coolest places you've traveled?
In real life, or?
I guess either.
Do both. Not either. Both.
Right here in Southern California.
Sure.
That's my favorite place. I'm boring that way. Japan is super cool though. I like Japan quite a bit.
Did you go there before Oculus, or did you go there for Oculus?
I went there for Oculus. I had not been there previously.
Is it hard with the language barrier?
Not really. I was also lucky enough to be traveling with people who not even traveling with. I was followed around by the Oculus Japan fan harem, so that they helped me get by.
Cool. I've always wanted to go, but I was always worried about not being able to read anything.
Yeah, I would not have done well on my own. It helped that I had people with me all of the time that wanted to take me everywhere and do everything.
I can speak Japanese and read a good portion of it, and I live in a place in Canada where it's absolutely useless. So I'm a little jealous.
Have you ever been?
No, never.
Got it.
Yet.
Yeah, one of my girlfriend's best friends is going to school in Japan, and she likes it, but she had to learn a ton of Japanese, and she was like, I have to use it.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like it just feels like such a waste of a skill. Like of all the languages I could have learned, like one that was useful in my area would have been nice.
Yeah, you should have learned Mandarin or Cantonese.
Yeah. Yeah, Mandarin for sure. I'm working on it.
Spanish if you go to California.
You're in Canada, you should have learned French.
Oh non, pas le français.
Non, c'est nul le français.
Oh crap, there's a Frenchman here, I forgot. Canadian French isn't French anyway.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm not Canadian.
Kung Fu movies, Palmer?
No, I know.
What about movies?
kung fu movies?
Yeah, definitely. Has anyone ever seen Ricky-O, The Story of Ricky?
Yeah. That's
Oh man,
super
that
violent.
movie, that movie is incredible.
What about
It's pretty funny.
what about Fearless Hyena? Ever seen that?
I have not.
Oh, you gotta check it out. There's a scene where Jackie Chan is fighting these guys with real swords.
Oh man, I love old Jackie Chan movies. What was the one where he was in the Navy? I just watched that one. I forget the name because it was on Netflix, and I was just going through Jackie Chan movies.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that one was.
I've got a box set, and one of them is called Half a Loaf of Kung Fu.
Yeah,
It's just a weird name.
that was an old one.
Yeah, it's like the old school box set.
Yeah, that was one of his first.
I like how if you watch Rumble in the Bronx, if you look in the background, you can see Vancouver and the Rocky Mountains somehow in the Bronx.
90% of the American movies, you can see something from Canada in the background if you look hard enough.
There's a big hullabaloo in Hollywood right now because all of the hippies want to replace the sodium lamps with LED lamps, and the movie makers are upset because that's totally going to change the color temperature of Los Angeles. So you won't be able to use it to stand in for New York or Chicago or anything that is pre-2015.
That's hilarious.
Correct it in post.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing. They actually can't even correct it in post because the LED lights. So LED lights can look white to the human eye, but they, rather than being a smooth curve of light frequencies, they generally peak at certain frequencies. So you cannot easily color adjust them. It's a real pain in the ass, and you usually can't get it to look right.
Speaking of
Very strange little tidbits of technology.
Well, but there's a lot of people argue. I mean, I live in Southern California, so you hear people bitching all the time.
That's funny.
Did you have
I
time?
personally like sodium lights as well.
Did you have time to go down to the Kite and Lightning party, a month or two ago?
No, I got invited, but I wasn't able to make it. But we met with some of their guys at E3, and that was really cool.
Oh man, you gotta try their big sex machine, their Genesis machine. That thing is killer.
Yeah, I've heard that it's cool stuff. I want to check it out.
What? You have to explain that.
Yeah, we
it's
need
kind of
more
hard
details.
to explain. All right, so I actually,
You can't
yeah,
just drop that.
All right, I recorded a podcast with them, and I'm going to release it in probably tomorrow. They have this big rig. It's like a big jungle gym looking thing, and you lay down in it, and they've got audio and rumbles under this bed that you lay in, and you're using a Rift, and there's a fan blowing at you, and the software is just trippy and amazing, and I don't know, you're going to have to hear the full details from them, but it's pretty cool.
Sure.
Crazy.
Yeah, Deep Rifter, one of our buddies here, was able to go.
Video.
And
Yeah, he talked about that a little bit.
yeah, he messaged me that night because I'm super into that stuff, and it was really amazing. One of the best things or coolest things he mentioned was when he sat down at one of the stations, in some room or whatever, interesting looking room. There's a lot of art stuff going on there. He puts the headset on, and then it's a replication of the room he was in. So there's a double take of am I in the room that I just came out of? Am I still in that? Am I in VR? And I think that's really rad.
I wish everyone's rooms looked the same. I would totally do that.
Yeah.
So I have a question regarding studies, and since you dropped out of college, I wonder if you would advise people to try to stick to a regular course of study on different fields of studies, or to try to find new way of learning.
Don't hear you, Palmer.
No, holding down the key again.
I didn't quite catch all of that.
Oh. Let me try again. Since you dropped out of college, would you recommend other people to stick to a regular course of study to get a PhD, for example, or go other ways?
I don't know. I'm not really a good person to ask since I didn't finish, especially going as far as getting a PhD. But you know, it worked out well for me, but who knows how it would have worked if Oculus would have failed. I might be in not such a great situation.
You
Yeah,
definitely
did you have
hired a
plans
lot of
if that
PhDs.
happened? Like, what if the Oculus just never happened?
I was going to be the world's best technology journalist.
That's a good backup.
Cool. I'm just saying.
Retire on those fat NeoGAF checks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, would have been like an investigative technology reporter. That's what I wanted to do. Also, I'm somewhat biased because, like, no offense to people in academia, but I would never be able to stay in academia for years and years. Going through all that, I would feel stuck. So I'm a fan of doing my own thing. But I know some people love academia, and I've worked with people who love it. So, and they do important things.
I had the pleasure of dropping out of college twice. Kind of proud of that. Got what I wanted out of it, and then did stuff.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. There's just a lot of people at Oculus without college degrees.
It makes so much more sense nowadays. Like everything you need to know is at your fingertips, and if you're motivated enough to learn, like you can learn way faster on your own and learn more things that you actually are interested in.
Yeah, that's the key, is that you can learn faster and you can also learn in a lot more focused ways, and it's not that you can do it always on your own, but usually if you're not in school, if you want to learn something, there's almost always some place to learn about a specific thing than school. You know, whether it's working in another company or volunteering somewhere or learning yourself.
Yeah, they say that you only use
I did a
10%.
Warped game development course for 4 years. Absolutely learned like barely nothing from it, and then instead spent a year when I was looking for a job just Googling stuff and using YouTube. And man, I learned so much more in that year than I ever did from 4 years of an official games development course.
Yeah, they say that you only use 10% of what you learn in college, and I gotta say it's pretty accurate.
Yes, that's why I wonder, should I go through my studies or try to learn by myself? But in the end, if you need a PhD, I mean, you need to go through the years of college anyway.
Yep.
Why do you want a PhD? Just so you can call yourself doctor?
Dr. Rubik.
No, because I plan on being a perceptual psychologist and work with VR. And so, I mean, in this field of studies, there's like no way to just work on your side and come up and just say I've worked on things. If you, in the end, if you don't have a diploma of some sort.
Well, if you just want the prefix before your name, it's a lot easier just to become a reverend.
That's true. Or a PI if you want one at the end.
Do I need a church?
No, I don't have a
PI.
church.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I wanted to get my PI license, but I got my security license instead. Now you have to pay for both separately. So there's no cool prefix for security guards, unfortunately.
Well, I'm just gonna have
Palmer,
to,
you've already got the followers. You might
have
as well
some
become a reverend,
ordinations
you know,
going on
make it
in here.
official.
Yeah, we should have Reverend Palmer, Reverend Blair.
Oh, yeah, I could be Reverend Palmer.
There you
I'm
go.
ordained on the internet.
There you go. You just have to take it a step further. I don't know how the laws are in Canada, but I think it cost me $20, and the great state of Ohio had me fill out a piece of paper, and it's official.
Yeah, I can't actually marry people here. I have to go to the States to do that.
Oh, no, yeah, I can. Well, I don't know. If I decide to move to another state, I guess I'll have to re-register.
That's how I was married, was my good friend who basically did that online, and that's all it took. Either that or I'm not really married.
Pretty much anyone can do the actual ceremony here, but you need an official to sign the papers with. So it doesn't really matter if you're a reverend or what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way it works, at least in Ohio, is that you have to register with them, so that way you have the authority to solemnize a marriage, just like if you were a justice of the peace or, I don't know, I guess a captain on a ship.
That's cool.
So has anyone gotten married in virtual reality yet?
Oh,
that I'm
I'm
aware
working
of.
on that.
Oh, World of Warcraft too, I guess.
Yeah,
Eduardo,
Robert
would you
Cowell
marry
have an
me?
app for that.
Yeah, Kai, you better make sure you're the first to that. You can just
I
cut
know,
this
man.
out though on the video. Because otherwise someone else is going to try to beat you.
No, trust me, it's a conversation that I've had 1,000 times. The difficulty is that as it stands right now, the marriage license has to be given in the state that I'm registered in. So I would either have to find 2 people in a state, go register there, or they'd have to come to Ohio to get their license.
What
It's a
about
bunch of
virtual
legal
marriage? Isn't that kind of different?
I don't know if I want to be the guy to pursue that legal battle.
I think a bigger issue would be finding a nice venue. I mean, this place
Oh,
is
no, we
nice,
can do
but
it
I
in
don't
my
think I want to
church.
be married here.
No,
We
can
also
do it in
have
my
a
church on
coffee
the
shop.
Minecraft server. Yeah.
Peach's Castle. It's a castle. You know, you can have everything there. Set up some trays for food and stuff.
My Zelda room would probably be perfect.
There you go. It's chapelish.
Well, with the
Oh, hey.
SDK, you just design a custom one.
Any word from Notch to Oculus there, Palmer?
Nope, nothing.
He completely, like, I've never played Minecraft or like any VR version of Minecraft. I played it like a couple of years ago, but he completely sullied it for me. I don't even want to try it now. I'm just like, nah, that Notch guy, I don't want to give him any money.
I
Yeah,
canceled
well,
that
he's
pre-order.
got plenty of money.
Yeah.
The Minecraft folks are separate though, and that's a great project. And if it wasn't for Minecraft, I would have never met a ton of people that are here right now, including Nate and whatnot. It had positional audio in August 5th is when it dropped, and it was amazing to run around that world and have adventures with people in virtual reality. We had Cymatic Bruce romping around with us, founded a little town. We ended up having events. And that's kind of what led into wanting to do more social stuff. Minecraft was a little limited. Wasn't the best place to try to have a VR show. So it's kind of expanded from there.
Hey Palmer, so has anyone reached out to you to try and like make a documentary of all this craziness that's going on? Like, have you guys
Yeah, a
been
bunch of people. Yeah, a bunch of people. It's just not what we want to do. We're too busy working to try and worry about how we look on camera.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering if you guys were like filming stuff yourself for later or anything.
A little bit. Not as much as we should, probably.
Cosmo Sharf was recording some stuff at GDC he was trying to put together a documentary, I believe, at the time.
Yeah, he's one of the people out there that's doing that.
I know there's a bunch of guys over in the UK that are working on something too.
I think it's more fun to do a documentary like after the fact and kind of have to dig through what you have, and you'll end up with Palmer shirtless with a rainbow wig on and stuff like that. That's a lot more fun than like a forced kind of documentary.
You have reenactments, or you can have an actor play you. Who'd you have play you, Palmer?
Oh, I don't know. Probably Ashton Kutcher. He seems to be doing a lot of that these days.
So I'm noticing that we're having some people blink in and out of the room here. The server could go down again. If it does, we'll just restart it and get us back in as quick as we can.
Cool.
Okay.
Well,
Palmer, have you had any?
happening.
Have you had any sort of celebrities like call up or anything? Just someone sort of say, "Oh, Anthony Hopkins on the phone." Anything? Have you ever heard anything along those lines? Obviously, just like something random for somebody called up or someone wants to try a riff or anything.
Yeah, we have quite a bit of that going.
Nope.
Yeah, usually they want to come into the office and try it out, and usually we end up having to turn them down.
Come on, drop some names. You're no fun.
Nah, I can't drop any names. It wouldn't be professional.
Ah, come on.
Yeah, but Avagant's got Snoop Dogg on their back. You guys need
do
a
they?
face. Yeah. You guys need to get like
Doug.
somebody.
Yeah.
Pay for a video of Gary Busey trying on the Oculus.
Oh my god.
But then you cannot see his face, so it wouldn't be actually really good.
I was thinking he should play the Joker if they ever need another Joker. Him or his son.
I think they should just remake Lethal Weapon 1 with all the actors old.
That'd be cool.
Kind of like what they're doing with Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Sure. But in that case, it's part of the story. It'd be great to see a movie where it's not like a sequel, it's just the same thing, and they just don't mention that they're all
Right.
about to die.
It's like they sweeted their own movie.
Yep.
They almost killed Han Solo.
Yeah, Harrison Ford got hurt real bad.
I heard he just twisted his ankle.
No, they had to do like immediate surgery on him and stuff.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
he can only do waist-up shots for the rest of the movie.
Well, so I need to go, guys, so I'll probably see you on the karaoke, and thanks again to Primer for joining us.
Yeah, later.
Later.
See you later, Rubik.
Cool.
See ya,
See ya,
Rubik.
Rubik.
Good night, Rubik.
So it's interesting, Rubik actually mentioned the karaoke. You know, I'm sure you're familiar with all the shows that are going on, Palmer, in the Rift Max. Have you considered maybe, I don't know, being a guest on Gunter's politically, or what is it, virtually incorrect?
That's right. That's correct.
I've thought about it, but I'm biding my time.
That's
For what?
cool because you know what we ultimately want to have happen is when you do get to the point where you are able to actually answer a lot of these burning questions, that you come in here to the community at large and kind of divulge here first.
Sure. Yeah, when we have more to say, like probably closer to when we have like DK2 rolling out, I'll pop in and we can talk about a lot of cool stuff. And certainly when the consumer product has more details.
There's something particularly poignant about a VR exclusive announcement in VR.
I
you know?
agree.
It just seems to suit well.
Absolutely.
How is the DK2 shipping from China? Is it coming by plane or boat? Or
Both. Depends on
Rickshaw.
which part of the production, where in the production timeline it is.
Sometimes they have to use boat planes.
Yeah, ground effect vehicles are pretty sweet.
Is there any sort of near finalized designs for CV1 floating around, or have you not even touched that question yet until you've got sort of more of the hardware finalized first?
It's in the Kickstarter video.
Nah, it's not going to look like the one in the Kickstarter video. I can say that.
God.
Phew.
I kind of like it. It looks like a shiny sleep mask.
Yeah, it's also like impossible.
Unless you
Oh,
have
to have that plaid,
OLED.
yeah.
Oh, I don't
What about
know. I mean,
the
look at what
flexible OLED screens?
Cast AR. Their renders are starting to look really cool recently.
Yeah,
Oh,
their
yeah.
renders do look very cool.
Like the mountain climbing goggles.
I'm telling you what, that
Bluish
render.
here.
Sure does.
yeah, maybe a bit grayish to me, I guess.
I'm back.
Yeah, lighting. You stand in different places and you'll get it to look different.
Wow, that's some serious lens flare.
Yeah.
Shoot it out of the sky. Is anybody gonna make that game for me? So I don't know if any of you guys heard the conversation I had with the
yeah.
Servios guys. Yeah, I want a game where I shoot lens flares out of the sky.
I can dig it.
I think Halos are
How do
okay, but
you
lens flares
monetize
are a little
that,
too
though?
much.
You don't monetize it. You just get great pleasure out of getting rid of lens flare everywhere.
Kind of reminds me of Missile Command.
Well, you need to Michael Bay it and have them explode with, you know, massive fireworks every time you shoot one.
Yes, exactly.
We got rid of the one that was over the area we usually hang out in there, but I guess we left that one still out there.
Oh yeah, but as we're
So
talking about the designs for
Accidentally,
the
I don't think we noticed that one. We usually don't hang out outside. We usually hang out in the upstairs in this room.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite of real life.
Bring an oversized avatar.
Right,
Oh, yeah, you can
exactly.
use those now. Yeah, I was just saying is I don't care how gauche it is, but I want something that's like insanely over 80s tech, you know? Even if the official one doesn't have that, someone's going to come up with a mod where it's just like layered with neon lights and ridiculously looks like something out of, you know, Johnny Mnemonic or something.
Someone will do that.
Oh,
If I have to tack on a bunch of pointless cables coming off of it and, you know, just wear gloves with cables for the sake of it, I don't care. I just want to feel like I'm right in that horrendously cheesy kind of moment in the past.
Oh my god.
I just want to wake up every morning and have on exactly what Blair's avatar has on. I just want to have a full body suit and just wear that every day.
Prio's working on it.
Yeah.
You're getting one of those, aren't you, Kyle?
Yeah. Actually, Mike Sutherland and I were having a great discussion the other day over a beer about the suit and how, you know, the aesthetics of it. It was an interesting conversation.
Yeah, Mike's a great guy. He was in Toronto
Oh,
all
yeah.
weekend. We were hanging out. It's fun.
Yeah.
I loaded him up full of poutine, introduced him to the Caesar.
There you go.
He was actually going to try and make it tonight, but he was busy.
Yeah. Yeah, the Prio suit's pretty cool. We're gonna do an announcement soon of like the implementation in Technoloss. We did a demo on the weekend. It was pretty good.
Yeah, well, I think your announcement already happened on Meant to Be Seen, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Kind of.
Yeah.
Neil jumped the gun on it.
Yep.
Is anyone else planning on cordoning off a room in their house and basically making a VR room, you know, like painting it white and just hanging up various different things for all their VR stuff?
Yeah, my garage.
Yeah.
Getting the Omni too. So
Oh my god.
I'm setting it up. That was an impulse buy, I admit.
Yeah.
You think you're getting an Omni?
When I saw it, I said, "Oh shit, I gotta have that." Especially after I ordered the you know, Dev Kit 1.
When is the Omni coming out again?
I don't know.
2020?
Yeah, we don't know.
Matt says never to me. But I mean, I just think that's just, you know, there's some history there.
I'm gonna have a VR RV. I'm in the process of buying a VR or an RV, and I'm gonna load it up with all this gear, Omni, and all that stuff.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, that's what you should do, is go mobile with it, like town to town.
And I got a deposit down on an RV, so I'm serious.
A brown van with one of those little circle windows on the side.
Says free candy with the N
That's
backwards.
a little dangerous.
Any plans to go to New Mexico, Gunner?
New Mexico or Mexico?
New Mexico.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, I'm down in South Florida, so I'll stick to over here a bit and visit folks. Maybe try to visit the meetups over here. Maybe help start that kind of thing. That's kind of where my passion is. Maybe an East Coast conference. Rev's talk about that. I wouldn't mind being a big part of that. But yeah, I want to get out there to, you know, the West Coast for sure. My heart's kind of always been there and just never happened.
Cool. Palmer, do you attend any of the meetups in your area regularly?
No, I usually don't because they tend to be on at times that I'm stuck doing other stuff. Did anyone go to the last VRLA meetup? I missed that. I was planning on going, but I wasn't able to make it.
Saw some pictures. Looked like a ton of public there.
No, I wanted to go, but I missed it, unfortunately.
Bummer.
Yeah, I know the ASMR chick, that Allie girl that I interviewed. She was there.
And there was a dog in the line too. The first VR dog, maybe.
How'd that go?
I have no idea.
Did you see the VR mantis? They made like
Yeah.
VR goggles for praying mantis. That was awesome.
Well, dogs can only see in black and white, so I don't know how well that would work for them.
I don't think that's true, actually.
Yeah, that's a myth as far as
That's
I know.
not true.
Is
They
it?
can see some colors.
Yeah, sorry.
Man, that's not what my dog tells me all the time.
There's actually an app that you can download that shows you exactly what colors dogs can see.
Science.
So,
They've got to build one of those for VR. That'd be awesome.
We're in the
could make one
process
for what the
of
mantis shrimp sees. That would be insane.
we're starting up like a VR studio here in Toronto. Palmer, what are the chances of being Oculus Canada?
Low.
Ah, my feelings.
It's too cold up there, man.
Yeah, I mean the tax subsidies are nice, but yeah, not much else.
Well, Ireland treats foreign businesses well. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we've got, Seattle's probably as far north as we're going.
What about east? How about Oculus Cincinnati?
We're further south than Seattle, actually.
Oh man, that's weird.
Yep.
Yeah, probably right now I don't think we have any plans to do any big offices elsewhere.
Has that been an issue for you guys since you've grown like so big so fast? Like, I know a lot of companies I've worked for that.
We're not too big yet. I mean, we're like 100 people, so most people know who other people are, as long as you take the time. It's kind of like high school.
Yeah, do you do any hiring yourself, or is it more kind of a case if you're walking by the office and go, oh, there's a new guy, who's this person, and sort of do your introductions and things?
Yeah, I'm involved in most new hires. That doesn't mean that I'm necessarily the one, evaluating every person in every discipline, because I'm not capable of that. But I usually at least know who they are, and we make sure that they're not giving off any weird vibes.
So the different offices, do the people like stay in kind of like their own little worlds, or do you guys do like video conferencing or have like phone calls a lot, or how does that work?
We communicate largely over email and GitHub issue tracking. So, and we do phone conferences regularly as well.
Are you eventually thinking about doing meetings in VR, kind of like in here?
Yeah, we could, but especially with phone meetings, a lot of times people are, one of the reasons that phone meetings happens is because other people are traveling, or maybe they're even driving, or they're, staying in a hotel somewhere. So it's just, right now it's not viable to have everyone, in the same place with a good internet connection and a good PC.
So you guys use Git? Is that for your primary development?
Yep.
Git for the win, Jesse.
I know, I'm a Perforce guy, but we use Git as well, because that's where Graham
we were using Perforce, but we moved over to Git.
When did you make that call?
Lots of Git fans at Oculus.
Makes sense. You win this one, Graham.
Also because we were, in the process of open sourcing a lot of stuff, it made sense to share the same system for what we're releasing to the public and what we're using internally, not to have two systems.
Makes sense.
What do you think of
Perforce fan, don't worry, Jess, I'm with you.
What do you think of Tesla opening up all their patents?
I think it's a PR play. None of their important stuff is in the patents anyways. If you read up what Elon has said about SpaceX, he's gone into lots of detail on why they don't file patents on anything that's actually important or worth protecting. It's because once you file a patent, people are going to steal it no matter what. Either they're going to work their way around the patent, or they're just going to wholesale copy it and sell it in another country where you can't touch them. So most of the patents are around things like their charging standard. And so what they're really doing is giving people the ability to use their charging standard instead of a different charging standard, which is obviously in Tesla's best interest. Right. So, and they're also not giving away all the information. They're giving away use of the design concepts in those patents. But even a lot of the useful patent, or the important patents, don't cover how to actually implement these details. So it's not like if there's basically saying if an automaker can figure out how to copy our secrets on these specific issues, we will not sue them.
Yeah, the charging
I still love
station
Tesla
thing makes
though.
a lot of sense. Externalizing their need for charging stations.
Yeah, and SpaceX doesn't have. I think they have like 1 or 2 patents, but effectively they have no patents. It's all trade secrets, which are protectable under their own set of law.
Did you see his new spaceship?
Dragon 2? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It looks like the Apple Store.
It's gonna be awesome. Private space flight is so cool.
Are you gonna do that someday?
Yeah, someday. I won't be the first.
Yeah, I'm still scared shitless of space. I don't know. There's something about being up there in the void. It's just horrifying.
No one can hear you scream.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
So Palmer, what would it take for you to get the old implant in the back of your neck for virtual reality? How far would we have to go?
I don't know. I've thought about getting like a Matrix neck plug tattoo since it seems like it'd be fitting, but I don't think I'm gonna actually go through with it. Yeah, I'm not gonna be the first person. The first people that are gonna get that are gonna be the people that stand to see huge quality of life improvements. People who don't have other options, not people who are perfectly fine on their own.
Yeah, man, I've seen too much sci-fi. As much as I love the idea and like would genuinely want it, I will never put anything computery near my brain. There's just far too many sci-fi things that have told me the horrors of where that could go.
My problem with the sci-fi part of it. My problem with the sci-fi part of it is they always ignore the upgrade cycle. Like, I don't want Mark III, I want Mark IV. And then when Mark IV is out, I want Mark V.
Well, look at what they did in
about
Johnny
my Android
Mnemonic.
phone, you know?
In Johnny Mnemonic, they gave him a double space or something like that to double his memory. That compression's not the way to go.
I'm more thinking of like Android, you know? Like, as much as I love my Android phone, it craps out on regular basis for reasons I haven't a bloody clue what it's doing. Its various applications just freak out. I do not want to have software in my head where someone installs a patch and goes, oh, I forgot to carry the one, and now you're, you know, in a coma. It's too easy for there to be a simple mistake that could cause something to go insane.
Ideally, news for you, man. Brains are like that anyway. Your
and
brain
ideally,
can just screw up.
It's going to be, your brain is going to be transferred into a different body. So when version 4 comes out, it's going to be in your new clone body. And you can just throw the version 3 body in the trash out back.
You guys are
But then
blowing
you're
my
getting
mind.
philosophical, because is that you anymore? Is the body, like, the body's cloned, but so is the mind then?
Yeah,
I mean, are you
chip
just a copy of the,
Theseus.
you know...
You are your
matter.
brain.
Yeah, AI will
You are
be
not
live
your
by
body.
that
You
time.
are your
We'll
brain.
all be dead.
Yeah.
Live it up while we're here.
What do you think of Kurzweil's ideas, Palmer?
I think there's 3 kind of singularitarians. There's people who think that we might be able to live forever. There's people who think we will be able to live forever. And there's people who think that it's provable today that we will be able to live together forever within their lifetime. And I think that too many of them maybe fall into that last camp.
Right, including Kurzweil.
Yes, it's one thing to believe that something will happen, but they believe it's actually provable scientifically that it will happen within their lifetime. And I feel like that's getting close to religion. Yeah, not science.
Totally.
I just feel bad for the guy. Like it affects his quality of life now. You know, like on his pill regimen and his low caloric diet and everything. Just
Don't feel bad for fanatics, Blair.
No. Okay.
I still cringe at the cryogenic people, you know, who are kind of, I'll just freeze my body now, and sure, that'll definitely work in the future, because
the
there's no
cryo
problem
people are
there.
screwed.
Yeah,
My big worry is that we're going to figure out how to solve aging, and we're going to be the last generation to die because it's going to require genetic engineering before birth.
I've been thinking about that a lot recently. It's pretty terrifying to, and I look at the young people. I'm like 32 now. I'm like, damn you, you might live longer than me or forever.
Those smug bastards.
I know.
Well, it's the people who haven't been born yet that are potentially going to see the greatest gains.
Yeah.
You know, how much would it suck for us to know that, you know, we've got, you know, 80 years, 90 years, and that the next generation of people to be born, oh, you can just flip off a few genes and bam, you're going to live to be 1,000.
Yeah, and technologically as well. I remember, I forgot it was some sci-fi thing I watched, and that the premise was that you know, people born after a certain age could get whatever implant at birth as your brain's developing, and it would sort of interconnect and work with it, and they have access to all the cool stuff then. With people who were born after, it's not compatible, and therefore they miss out on everything.
Yep.
That generation of technology.
And we'll just be Kurzweilian, like, not even full personalities on a CD-ROM or something, pretending like we're actually who we are.
CD-ROM? What's that?
Yeah.
What about an optical disc?
Is that like paper?
What about Time Walk?
Time warp?
Time Walk? That.
Oh,
The
right,
grandma?
right. That grandma is going to come visit you forever and ever.
Oh,
and you
that thing.
Yeah.
You ever
Now, see,
worried
I would
about
totally
teachers
do
coming
that,
over
though.
to visit you, Palmer? Or maybe
Did-
in here.
No, I haven't talked to those guys.
See,
You
I
worry
would
about-
totally do that because I want my kids to be able to talk to me after I keel over from a heart attack.
Sure.
I swear, that has to be the most elaborate trolling the world's ever seen. There's no way. There's no way that's legit.
It might not be legit, but I think they're serious.
They may be. Well, while we're bashing on Kurzweil, what is your opinion about brain uploading? Is that ever going to be a thing, or is that just stupid on the face of it?
I don't know. I'm not a philosopher or a biologist.
What about the Blue Brain project? Have you looked at that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similar efforts trying to pull off similar things. I don't know. I don't know enough about. I'm not skilled enough in that field to know who's really legit and who's not. But you know, it's all the same questions everyone has. If we can clone our brain, is it really us? Yeah, that worries me. And of course, maybe it won't even matter. Maybe nobody will care as long. Maybe it's just the illusion of everyone living on that's enough to keep people happy.
It's obviously going to become a issue if people can live forever. I mean, we're going to start seeing problems with quality of life, and of course maybe VR can solve that because now we can escape into a better quality of life. But maybe that leads more to that Ready Player One situation.
Well, and if you potentially are in a situation, if you're relying on virtual reality to solve resource problems, what happens when the VR system collapses and you've built yourself up to the limit of what you can do with VR? Now you're in bad shape.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess you'd have
the world will all
redundancy.
be server farms, and we're just digital.
What about real presence? Like, with that $20,000 headset, I kind of felt a little bit of that, and I was thinking about how scary real presence can be, and what kind of impact that will have when that happens. Like, if any content provider can put stuff out there that can potentially kill people.
Well, I mean, there's people who have had heart attacks watching movies, so it'll happen.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll become part of the marketing ploy, you know? Like, you have to sign this release before you can play this horror game because it might kill you.
Yeah, the Exorcist movie, you know, so scary you'll go insane kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking more stuff where you're getting dropped out because I'm afraid of heights, and that thing really threw me for a loop. But I could I could see myself working through it though. I mean, definitely if I did that several times, I think I'd be done with a problem with height.
Personally, though, I'm a little more worried about figuring out what the best practices are and then doing the worst practices. Like, I experimented a little bit with just drawing separate colors to the two different sides of the rift and then strobing them, kind of.
Sure.
And I'm not
Impossible
anywhere
colors.
close to... Yeah, I'm not anything close to epileptic, and I couldn't take that for even a second. You know, running it at like 60 hertz, just swapping the two colors back and forth. was like, this is going to burn out my brain if I look at it for
Yeah,
even a
alternating
minute.
is the big problem. If you keep them constant, you can do cool stuff, but you wouldn't want to alternate.
Can you? I wonder if you could hypnotize people.
Hypnotism is more of a state of mind of willing to be hypnotized and willing to accept it. Then it won't happen subconsciously.
Have you seen anyone
Yeah.
try to do like a Rift experience trying to simulate that or anything?
I have not. I know a hypnotist though, and I used to be really interested in the idea of hypnosis, so I've read quite a few books on it, and it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, I did that in school. I used to be sort of a pseudo stage magician. I did the whole things, and I did the hypnosis, and I did the neurolinguistic programming stuff, and it's all fascinating stuff. But yeah, it comes down to the disbelief. You know, you have to, if you're willing to be hypnotized, you'll be hypnotized. If you're not, you won't. And it's very amazing how it works. But I'm more interested in the concept of experiences changing your personality. Imagine sort of VR experiences where you give someone, I don't know, put them into a war scene and like make it as gritty as possible. And if they're either pro or against, you can alter their perception by giving them an experience, which then solidifies into a memory, and then you actively change your personality by the memories you experience. That's a lot more dangerous, for you could actively change people's personalities by selective experiences you give them.
It's wild.
Well, yeah, you guys, I got a jam, but hey, Palmer, thanks for coming out. I mean, this is super cool.
Yeah, I've actually got a blowout too. I have a call at 8, so I better go get prepared for that.
Well, thanks a lot for coming out. I really appreciate it, and
Yeah.
so does everyone here. Thanks,
When,
Palmer.
is this every Wednesday or what?
We're going to start the developer chats doing every Wednesday. Yes, that's right. And actually, our next guest is Anticleric right over here.
Oh, awesome.
We also do the meetups every Sunday after Simac Bruce's show, which is about 7 p.m. Eastern, so 4 p.m. Pacific.
4, yeah.
Yeah, usually we just all hang out.
It's about the same
And
thing.
of course, you're welcome to come by anytime.
Sure, I'll pop by sometimes. All right, guys.
Awesome.
Great seeing everybody.
Yeah,
Awesome.
take it easy.
Thank you.
Alright, take care.
See you later.
Keep on keeping on.
Cowabunga. Oh, favorite Ninja Turtle. Wait. Favorite. Damn.
We'll
Did
get
he
him in the
just
next
spin
one,
out?
sure.
That was awesome.